Hello, hello, and welcome to Non Sequitur, powered by ohmTown.com. That's right. It is official. We've changed the name to Non Sequitur News. The podcast has
Say what?
changed. The website has changed. It'll be transparent to everybody. So if you are a subscriber to the podcast, the YouTube channel, the playlists will have changed to Non Sequitur News. It can be its own channel, yeah. So all of the marketing and everything has changed to Non Sequitur News as much as possible. Ta-da! So
Hooray!
Non Sequitur News from this day forward, as it'll be called, Non Sequitur News. The commands in the chat will change or have changed already. So if you hit !NSN, you will get Non Sequitur News links. They're already embedded in the channel bot, in the ohmTown bot. Where else? Oh, the Discord has already changed. Pretty much everywhere. Like the podcast is even updated already, and it has new art. And I wanted it to be, the reason we changed it is because ohmTown is the community, but the news is a separate thing. It embraces all of the other channels. It crosses the barriers between the other niche channels, and because we hop from one thing to another, Non Sequitur News seemed like a perfect name for it. So as mayor, I made the executive decision, and I hope that everybody digs this new, new tent pole to hover around. You know, ohmTown Daily News Show was it just spoke directly to ohmTown, but Non Sequitur News is the community. So we've already got 10 articles that, again, cross the paths. And if you click the links on past episode show notes, it will automatically forward to, if it is a Non Sequitur News link, but it's formally branded as ohmTown Daily News, it'll automatically flip over to Non Sequitur News. So again, everything is frictionless. There aren't any issues involved. If you do run across something, send an email to mayor@ohmtown.com, and I'll receive it and I'll fix it. So with that in mind, I wanted to get that right out of the gate. Boom. Today is June 18th, 2024. It's season 3, episode 170. I wanted it on 170. No, it was just arbitrary reason. I could have done it tomorrow.
Well, I mean, that fits the title.
But we switched. So I am Mayor Watt, and right there is the sentient AI's visualizer.
Wait, can't catch me. Good evening, ohmTown citizens.
I keep trying.
Welcome to Non Sequitur News.
Oh yeah, that's right. So we might just say Non Sequitur or something like that, not Non Sequitur News. But yeah, go, and if you do a search for ohmTown in Apple Podcasts or wherever you catch pod, you will get all 7 of our news shows. And they are in no particular order: Non Sequitur News, Reality Hacker, Wanted, Warcrafters, The Continuity Report, Technology Today, and 4-Wheel Tech. It may take a while for things other than Apple to propagate, but within probably 24 or 48 hours, it'll all be updated, including your podcatchers. It'll automatically update the channel art. So, and there are going to be some more changes taking place over at ohmTown.com. More pictures are going to be in the articles. More channel art, as it's called, will be embedded, and avatars will be embedded. But trying to spruce the place up, so it's a rebuilding year. Okay, so it is. Let's get us back on the track. Today, again, is June 18th, 2024. It's season 3, episode 170. And today we're going to be talking about Climbers Summit and Clean. Mysterious Monolith returns. Stuck touring a coal mine. Maybe forever. No, I shouldn't joke. Walking a Siberian forest cat. Warning about microwaves. Exhilarating views of America's wonders. An artificial star in orbit. Time to go without avocado and mango. And Boeing lost track of parts, you say? And finally, butterflies. It's an AI social network. That and more in non sequitur news, but it's all powered by Yay! Welcome back. You ready to get into this?
I am. We'll see how many non sequiturs we can show.
I mean, if you look at the rundown, and again, if you type in !NSN, so non sequitur news, you will get a list of all of the articles in their correct order. And if you hit !pod, it will give you all of them, all of the podcasts, including the updated version of, well, actually, I guess I didn't hit save. Anyway, it'll be the same. It'll get updated tonight. So all 7 of our podcasts are under the umbrella of ohmTown. So if you want to subscribe to all of them, just do a search for ohmTown and you'll find it. Otherwise, do a search for non sequitur news and you'll find it. Along with the other names, they're all news shows following the similar format of 10 articles in about an hour of time. This show might run a little long because I'm rambling. But if you look at the topics that we're covering today, it is a non sequitur of news. You are hopping from one thing to another it does not follow. It's hard to kind of pen it in, so non sequitur news is very apropos. That said, the other 6 shows, they are all niche and they're much more focused. Like Wanted is talking about gadgets and gear, and Technology Today is more focused on a deeper level of science and technology. Warcrafters is about gaming. 4-Wheel Tech is about auto. Continuity Reports about entertainment, movies, essentially. And Reality Hacker is about VR, AR, mixed reality, deepfakes, AI, etc. So.
And 4-Wheel Tech, I don't think you said.
Yeah, I said it was about auto. 4-Wheel Tech is about automotive. Yeah, I was pretty brief about that one. But let's get into today's news. The very first article is over in, non sequitur news. It even has a new channel art. So a team of climbers just summited 3 of the most challenging peaks in the world, but they made it even harder by collecting roughly 2,000 pounds of trash along the way. I think this should actually be required. You pack in and pack out. That's how I think you should do it.
Pack out more than you brought in, basically.
My understanding is that there's a bounty on some mountains that if you bring stuff down, you get like a rebate or something like that. You get money back.
Interesting.
I think. Don't hold me to that. I thought I had heard that on Mount Everest. That's how it works. You have to, if you bring stuff back, you get money. That said, though, look, if it takes you 2,000 pounds worth of trash to make it up the mountain, then you should have to pack that shit back down. I know that it's not 2,000 pounds per person, but I'm just saying, if it takes you that much stuff to get to keep you alive going up the mountain, if you really want to show the world how big your stones are, pack all that debris back. That is what really makes you, right? If you leave a trail like the kids out in the woods, dropping little, and the Wicked Witch finds
gingerbread crumbs, yeah.
If you have to leave a trail of debris marking how you survived, it's more that tech saved your ass and you just know how to breathe and walk. So Now I'm picking a fight with a lot of people that have done this and they're very rich and whatever, but the fact of the matter is that it's tech that's saving their ass. And all you have to do is walk up and not be a derp, right? The people that are really out there, like really hustling, are the Sherpas, the people that are packing all of that shit for all of these other people. They're making some money and it's a living, I suppose. But those guys, those are the ones that are living up there. So anyway, so mad respect for them. They're not relying on all of the tech. Anyway, enough of that. I'm sitting there soapboxing about this. Mountaineer Garrett Madison recently summited Mount Everest, Mount Lhotse, and Mount Nuptse. I think that's how it's pronounced. This season, this is his second time doing it, earning him another Everest Triple Crown of mountaineering. Madison made the trek even more challenging by collecting pounds of trash along the way. Now that's the hero, right? If you bring all of that shit up, you bring it all down. This guy, and I suppose more than just this one person, brought 2,000 pounds of trash back down. So the article, yeah, we need a lot more of that. So the article is over at Business Insider. Ellen Lapointe put the article together. And my understanding is, and I've seen drone footage and stuff like that. Obviously, I've never done this, but I've seen drone footage. Basically, it turns into a small town at various levels. And so I think that this is awesome. The 3 peaks are some of the most dangerous climbs, boasting some of the harshest conditions on Earth. Freezing temperatures, low oxygen levels, treacherous terrain. The 3 peaks could risk your life. Climbers can die from severe altitude sickness, fall into deep crevasses. You have to say it like that.
Right, you can't just say crevice or something.
Yeah. Crevasse. Young crevasse. Exposure, other threats. Yeah. And it's true. I mean, it's a tough slog to climb these mountains. But again, if you leave your shit everywhere, shame on you. Pack your shit back. Anyway, visiting the top of the world isn't just about climbing for Mr. Madison anymore. He summited Mount Everest 14 times, and after years of watching trash accumulate on the mountain and its surrounding peaks, he's decided to tackle the issue head on. So he started Madison Mountaineering Mountain Cleanup Project in the fall of 2023, and he and his team have now collected a total of 4,000 pounds of trash, 2,000 in 2023 and another 2,000 this year, and I suppose it's not done yet.
Right.
So see
well,
all
I
that?
guess it's always being added to.
Yeah. All this crap. Yeah, none of that should be there. You know?
I think you should have to label your stuff somehow, and so that if anything's left and found, it gets you get a fine or something, some penalty.
Yeah, exactly. It should all be weighed, and this is how much you come back with. And if you don't come back with that weight, then you pay a penalty, because somebody has to go up there and clean the frickin' mountain because you're too much of a pig. So pollution flows down, right? The Nepali climbers holding discarded oxygen tanks that they collected from Mount Everest in 2019. And this is just some of them. And look at all the stuff.
Yeah.
I mean,
right. I mean, it looks like they're sitting on snow or something. They're sitting on piles of trash.
Yeah. Yep. Amazing. Anyway, waste management rules on Mount Everest haven't been well enforced. Troy Upperall, I guess. An experienced mountaineer who climbed Everest twice and summited once, told Live Science in 2022 he doesn't think most climbers are all that concerned with carrying their trash back down the mountain. You barely have enough energy to get yourself off the mountain, so anything you don't have to carry or can get rid of, you just offload so you can get down. Yeah. Meanwhile, again, these guys here, they're the real hustlers. They're the ones that's cleaning the mountain and can get up there and back. If you need oxygen, guess what? You're leaning on tech. Why don't you just fly a helicopter up and say you did it?
Right.
You know? Not to pick a fight or anything, but I think it's a shit move to ruin the mountain. But then you're going to have a whole bunch of people from the area that are like, we're making bank because all of these rich people want to climb a mountain.
Okay, so if you can't clean up after yourself, why don't you have to pay for like a cleaning service behind you? I know that sounds ridiculous because
Yeah.
it's a mountain, but
Yeah. Make it hurt so that the mountain.
then it'll help the local economy.
Exactly. Make it hurt. They got the money to swing the bat to climb that mountain, so make them swing for the mountain. Put some money in it. Okay. Anyway, let's keep going. The next article is over in the continuity report. I'm going to do something real quick. I don't normally do this, but I'm going to do this. Oh, okay, cool. So the next article is over in the continuity report. Remember the mysterious monoliths? Do you remember those? They'd show up in a desert or on a hill somewhere.
I mean, we've certainly seen like weird structures or whatever, but I don't remember the monoliths.
They're big, shiny silver monoliths, right? If they're the ones that I remember. So, oh wow, we just did the exact same thing at the same time. That was weird. Hold on a second. Okay. Well, anyway, Las Vegas police said a mysterious monolith similar to the ones discovered around the world years ago have showed up in Las Vegas. The article is actually over at... Something's going on with my system. Oh, no.
Uh-oh.
Ugh. We'll just... I don't know if that... it won't let me... It won't let me sign in. And I don't have it logged in for Washington Post. Normally, I fix this before the show, but I didn't do it today. Anyway, so there's a metallic monolith that appeared outside of Las Vegas, recalling a 2020 frenzy about the structure's origins. And basically, these silver chrome monoliths show up out of the middle of nowhere. There don't seem to be tracks. They just appear. One was in a valley somewhere. Herb Scribner over at the Washington Post put the article together. More than one person
I
has
do
written
think
about
we
this.
had one from Utah maybe featured in ohmTown.
Yeah, we've spoken about this. And when you go, you won't have to worry about this. There is a soft paywall that gets harder. So if you don't sign up, eventually, if you don't subscribe, I have a subscription to Washington Post, but I didn't log in before the show. Anyway, yeah, apparently the monolith, maybe these monoliths have actually appeared in other places and they just haven't been found yet.
Well, that's quite possible, particularly if they're in remote areas, or if they're in places where people perhaps just appreciate them but don't go, oh, I've got to get on social media or something.
Yeah, but then what's the point of them, right? Are they there for enlightenment? Is it like 2001, A Space Odyssey?
We don't know.
Yeah, let's keep going. The next article is over in Non Sequitur News. That's the name of this show now. Dozens get stuck underground during coal mine tour. Following a mechanical issue with a mine rail car during a tour, dozens were rescued from a mine in Pennsylvania.
Okay, that sounds pretty ominous.
Yeah, I don't know if this is a video that's actually from this or what, but Natalie Venegas from Newsweek.com put the article together. It says on Monday, during a tour of the Lackawanna coal mine located in McDade Park in Scranton, Pennsylvania, over 50 people were rescued after getting stuck several hundred feet below ground, according to the Scranton Times-Tribune. County Communications Director Pat McKenna said that there was a mechanical issue with the rail car that brought it to a halt, causing the evacuation. I cannot imagine how many people would lose their freaking mind in this.
Yeah, this is a good way to cause panic.
So, a person named Needlinger, who has been working in the mine for 8 years, said that he never had to use the emergency escape, adding that the last time it was used was over a decade ago when a car also had an issue. Well, I guess there's going to be an investigation because 1 is a single instance, 2 is the beginning of a trend. You don't want a third one because you're going to end up getting shut down. So
Yeah, that's all they need. And this isn't an active mine, I assume. It's just tourism.
yeah. So it was about 15 years ago. They said that they broke an axle on the car and they had to use it the last time. Where I'm here 8 years and never had to use it, which is a weird way of saying they haven't had to use it in 15 years, but they tacked on that they've been there for
Yeah,
8
but
years.
then it was very odd. It's like, how do they know before they were there?
Yeah. So the Lackawanna Mine tour will be closed to the public pending repairs, as mine operators say they will determine what caused the mechanical issue. In April, early April, 6 miners were rescued. But this was in Taiwan after an earthquake, and it actually has zero context to this other than
All it has to do with is mining.
a mine. Yeah. And then another one working in a quarry in Taiwan again. I think it's oh no, it's the same one. They're just talking about that earthquake. All right. Wow.
They got to fill out the 2,000 words or whatever.
I suppose so. So interesting. But wow. I don't know. It just seems like you're going to have to reinvest depending on what it was. It could be a horrible thing that had happened. And anyway, they managed to get out. I don't want to doom and gloom. Anyway.
Yeah, I mean, this could have ended a lot differently. But,
yeah,
it's like, are they just going to close it all together? Or are they going to, rebuild the infrastructure in a tourism mine? I mean,
they don't even know what it was. They don't know what happened. So it broke, and then the people got out. So I'm glad that they all got out safely. Let's keep going, though. The next article is over in Non Sequitur News. A woman shares the chaos of walking her Siberian forest cat. So the video at the top has nothing to do with it other than there's a cat. Lydia Patrick is the author of the article over at newsweek.com. And they talk about how owners of indoor cats who want to show their protected animals the outdoor world are turning to harnesses and leashes, accessories traditionally reserved for dog walking. But depending on the cat can be very much like a dog. And so, for instance, I've taken my cat out on a leash, and largely they just sit there. But that's not what happens with this. Oh, and I take mine out because people and kids find it, my particular breed of cat, fascinating. So, so here's a little Instagram video. I don't know if it's going to pull me over to Instagram. Yes, it did. Anyway, there's the video.
Whoa!
It sprinted up. It basically chased a bird and then went up a tree trying to get the bird.
Much like on the leash.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
And just whipping her around. So this, yeah. Forest cats are not slouches. They're not little tiny cats. They're pretty chunky, beefy cats. Siberian forest cat. Mika Chonk.
Mika Chonk.
I think that's the person. That's the whole thing. So I think it's Mika and Chonk. I think Chonk is the name of the cat. So yeah. Maybe not. So one enormous Siberian forest cat, Mika Chonk. I guess that's maybe the full name of the cat, Mika Chonk. So okay. Proved this to be true in a hilarious video where her wild instincts overtook and she leapt up a tree to try and chase a bird, dragging her owner with her in Boulder, Colorado. So,
I mean, that's a pretty rambunctious cat.
Yep. Newsweek reached out to Mika Chonk for comment. Well, the cat doesn't.
Okay, how did they do that? Maybe the cat doesn't use Instagram.
Well, it's posted on Instagram under Mika Chonk. Yeah, all right, whatever. Let's keep going. The next article is over in Non Sequitur News. New Yorkers warned about using microwaves.
All
At
right,
least,
now is this the like surveillance microwave issue or something else?
yes. Space alien microwave. No, this is about the heat wave. So, at least one electricity provider is urging customers to conserve energy amid a heat wave scorching the Northeast. So, you can't use your microwaves, but you can, I don't know,
Can't burn candles either.
can't burn candles. Oh my gosh, what are we going to do? Anna Skinner over at Newsweek.com put the article together. The excessive heat has at least one provider urging people to conserve energy as millions of people rely on their air conditioners to keep cool. On Tuesday morning, Con Edison sent an email to its customers alerting them of actions they can take to help conserve energy during periods of increased demand. Con Edison is the largest electric producer in New York with more than 3.6 million customers.
They need to work on their branding.
Con Edison?
Yeah, I mean, I don't think having the name Con in a business name is really a good move.
Oh man, it's downright presidential. The email goes on to list ways people can conserve energy. See, Con Edison, conserve. See how it works? It flows. So including limiting use of large appliances such as, did you assume the size of my appliance? My goodness,
Who are you calling
large.
chonky?
Mika. So including limiting use of large appliances such as microwaves, that's a large appliance? When did that?
I mean, compared to like a hand mixer or something, maybe.
I bet you, no. I could cause my mixer to get more torque, drawing more power than the microwave. So microwaves.
Watch out for the batter.
That's right. I'm going to be making mochi, and it's just going to cause the whole thing to seize up. Washers, dryers from 2 p.m. to 10 p.m. each day. That's right. You must suffer. We're not in the 21st century.
Uses appliances during those hours.
No, for 8 hours out of the day, include 4 after you get home from work, or 5 actually, depending on when you get home. Anyway, the company also suggested that customers apparently sit on a bicycle and pedal their ass until their appliance turns on.
That's right. They'll have to.
They don't say.
I don't know what they'll have to do.
But it's like Gilligan's Island. They're gonna have to sit there and rub a couple of coconuts together to build static electricity, and then hold it up to the light so that it turns on for a split second.
Oh no.
So the email also suggested people set their air conditioning to the highest comfortable temperature. Okay, 70.
Well, yeah, I'm like, I'm not sure that's the best thing to tell them, because somebody will be like 60 or something.
That's right. Look, I run hot. I want my thermostat set at 65. If I'm not directly sitting inside an ice box, I'm too hot. I don't know about the rest of this. Let's just move on.
What do you think will be the next thing warned against?
Breathing. Oh no, that's already been done all over the place. Gosh, I don't know. I watched some like horror videos on YouTube recently, and somebody came home and drank some water and then learned of a news report that they shouldn't drink the water, and then they found victims of what was in the water. So don't drink water. Oh, and it even said boiling doesn't solve the problem. So it was like a really, like this person.
Oh wow.
Yeah, they met their demise at the end of the video. But oh, what was the name of it? There was a series of videos, and they were really amazing. Maybe I can find them and put them in the show notes. So the next article is over in Non Sequitur News. The immersive attraction providing exhilarating views of America's wonders. I was hoping that this was VR, but it says Fly Over Las Vegas is the latest experience helping to diversify the strip. from its gambling roots.
Does anybody think of Las Vegas for anything not associated with gambling?
No, not really. I mean, if you live there, sure. But if you're going there to hang out, there might be concerts, but it's always concerts plus gambling, or doing this plus gambling. So yeah. Sorry, 1 second, folks. Okay, so this article is over at newsweek.com by Monica Sager. And it says it's one of the... So Flyover Las Vegas calls itself a flying theater experience in which riders are suspended in front of a 52-foot wraparound screen showing a first-person high-speed aerial view of an iconic location, from the snowy peaks of the Rockies to the skyscrapers of downtown Chicago. So it's basically VR, but projected into a theater where it's a
Okay.
Disneyland ride.
Yes, I was gonna say it sounds like a Disney ride.
So this is what it is. So they actually show you videos, but you're in a seat and the screen wraps around you. Now, if you've been to like Disneyland and other places that have rides like this, then you know exactly what it is. So I don't know.
I guess if you're not buying the whatever the pass is to Disney, then maybe this is a way to get that experience.
There you go. So yeah, it's interesting. It says the Las Vegas location is on the site of a former movie theater opened in 2021 as Flyover's third, operated by parent company Pursuit. The project cost around $40 million. My God, really? A 6-minute panoramic pre-show is projected onto wrap screens, programmed to interact with each other. A handful of locations are offered, including the flagship film Wonders of the American West and the newest Believe Chicago. So yeah, I guess it wraps around them and you're in a little suspended seat. Pretty cool.
I mean, that sounds cool.
Yep. And they talk about the other videos in this, but if you're going to go to Las Vegas, check out Flyover Las Vegas. It has 2 40-seat theaters. There are 2 floors, each one with 2 sets of pods where riders sit. The pods angle along with the screen, so riders essentially feel like they're suspended in the air. What did you see? Oh, it's right there.
Well, I saw the connection to the ride Soarin' at Disney World at Epcot.
Yeah, which is the experience that I'm talking about. I'll just say it that way. A lot of tech had to be built from the ground up, Westerland told Newsweek. That's fine. It says here the seats are mesh and the sound comes from speakers placed directly behind the guest's head, so it gives more of a spatial recognition, Westerland said, which... Okay. Mist and wind are programmed to hit riders depending on what is being shown on the screen. Location-specific scents are infused into the air, and not just the pretty ones either. Westerland says riders flying over Icelandic volcano are greeted with the distinct smell of sulfur. So we're trying to give you a sense of realism, says Westerland.
Hopefully not too much realism.
Yeah, really. I'm sure everything, no accidents will ever happen. This is cool, though.
I just meant like you don't want to actually breathe in sulfur.
Oh, sure you do. Come on. What's a little sulfur amongst friends? Let's go on to the next article. The next one is over in the Non Sequitur News. NASA is putting an artificial star in orbit around Earth. NASA aims to launch a mini satellite the size of a bread box that could become one of the most important astronomical tools by the end of this decade. NASA approved a $19.5 million Landolt space mission to send an artificial star into Earth's orbit. It will be the first astronomical tool of its kind that could revolutionize the way we study space. The mission could help many areas of astronomy, from studying exoplanets to the universe's expansion. So I'm not quite sure why. Jessica Orwig over at BusinessInsider.com put the article together.
Like, I wonder why this is different than other things, but maybe it's because it's more accessible.
Yeah, I'm not sure even what the purpose of it is yet, right? Like, do you know already?
I don't. I think this is very odd, and it's kind of like, what could go wrong?
So this is some really awesome science that NASA is supporting. Tyler Ritchie-Yowell, a postdoctoral researcher at Lowell University. Yowell and Lowell University. There's a lot of Owls.
Lowell Observatory.
Yeah. So the Lowell Observatory, who studies stellar astronomy and exoplanets, told Business Insider it's something that's going to help out all astronomers. So the mini satellite called CubeSat, which is a class of satellite, not a specific satellite. There's a bunch of different CubeSats out there, and they have different functions. So it'll be designed to drop into orbit 22,236 miles away. At that distance, its speed will match Earth's spin, so the satellite will appear fixed in the night sky and be an easy target for telescopes to track. You won't be able to see it with the naked eye, but to telescopes, it'll look like a star. The mission is scheduled to launch in 2029, and it'll be the first of its kind, which, okay, but
I still don't get what they get beyond regular astronomy.
yeah, so the CubeSat named Landolt for the late astronomer Arlo Landolt will fire lasers with a specific number of light particles or photons, which astronomers can use to calibrate their telescopes for measuring light. This can help eliminate a lot of the guesswork that astronomers do now when using real stars to calibrate their instruments. So they'll be able to remove the noise because they'll have a direct measure of the amount of light hitting atmosphere between that location in orbit and Earth. Which changes.
So I guess that'll give better readings or better data.
Yep. So yeah, it says better. What makes this artificial star better than a real one is that astronomers know exactly how much light it's emitting. So they know they don't have to sit there and guess what the amount of diffusion is. So it says it'll eliminate a lot of the guesswork that astronomers do now using real stars. The problem is that there's no way of knowing exactly how much light real stars emit because we can't send a probe to one to accurately measure its brightness. Moreover, Earth's atmosphere absorbs a lot of light from space, which can also affect astronomers' calibrations. So there you go. It's pretty neat.
That's very cool. It's quite shocking that we're doing this, but I guess if we can, bounce off of an asteroid, why not?
Yeah, exactly. Then they kind of go off into discussing the more fantastic aspect of astronomy, like finding life on other planets and whatnot. But I want to stick to what we're doing right here with this particular article and this CubeSat. So,
do you think they'll be able to solve the Monolith issue?
Aliens. The next article is over in Non Sequitur News. USDA suspends avocado and mango inspections in Mexico state due to security concerns. I titled this one "Time to Go Without Avocado and Mango." So why the U.S. Department of Agriculture temporarily paused safety inspections of avocados and mangoes in one western state in Mexico? Apparently it's security concerns. Kelly McCarthy from Good Morning America put the article together, but it's published at abcnews.gov.com. We've actually talked about this before. There are security issues with U.S. Department of Agriculture workers doing investigations and quality control inspections in mangoes and avocados to the point where threats of violence and other issues have led them to basically putting a freeze on inspections. So, I mean, to me, I'm like, okay, well, in bring them to where they're going to be brought over into the United States, but on that side, do the inspections
Right, do the
there.
inspection there, yeah.
Let it all come. Fine. If you want to sit there and force signing contracts and all of that other stuff, make the contract contingent on the inspection passing, 5 miles away from the gate, still inside a DMZ type environment, or in some other protected area, and that's where the inspection is done. I see no problem with any of that up until somebody does something in that area, like you build a better mousetrap and a more violent mouse shows up and decides to cause great harm there. So a spokesperson for the agency said Monday that the inspection program will remain paused until it can ensure its animal and plant health inspection service inspectors working in Mexico are safe. I don't know, depending on the way that the world is turning, who knows?
Well,
The
I was
US
thinking they might have to shift away from importing avocados and mangoes.
Yeah, that's going to be brutal. Yeah, they're a major well, I mean, mangoes, we could probably get them from like Iceland or something. What was the one that's making leather
Oh,
out
right.
of mango?
I forgot where that was from.
Oh my goodness, Dutch,
Was
right?
it?
It was a Dutch company. Yeah. Um,
Yeah, it was. Fruit Leather Rotterdam.
there you go.
I mean, there might
So
be others too, but
yeah, I think there are a couple, but the USDA first alerted the avocado exporting producers and packers of Mexico of its decision to suspend new exports out of the Western Mexican state earlier this month. Any produce that's already been inspected and is in transit will not be blocked or impacted by the suspension. This marks the second time in just over 2 years that inspections have been suspended following an incident in February 2022 that we actually spoke about here, which the U.S. DA employee safety, which was resolved within a week of the ban and had no severe impact on the avocado supply in the U.S. But now, once is an incident, twice is the beginning of a trend, 3 times you've got an ongoing issue that needs to be resolved.
well, it's while it's not in this specific state, there are a lot of issues occurring in Mexico in neighboring states.
Yeah, and Michoacan is the one that they're talking about. It's marked as being one of Mexico's most dangerous states, which have been dominated by organized crime for decades. The avocado industry has been no exception, with extortion rampant in the lucrative produce industry. And the same thing with anywhere where there is criminal enterprise, it can infuse. I mean, we have it here in the United States, different levels. We have it. I mean, it takes place everywhere. The level of violence might be greater, or the threat is more overt, but it is what it is. Because people would rather abuse than be part of society. But I got
Well, I
mine,
don't know
right?
what's going to happen if we don't get guacamole.
Oh my god. Next you say you were going to run out of coffee, and then it's end of the world.
It's the end of the world.
Yeah, asteroid, come and hit the Earth, please. The next article is over in the Mobile Channel. Boeing lost track of hundreds of bad plane parts, a new whistleblower says, and I think I know where they might be. They're slowly falling off all of the planes.
Ah, yes. Maybe they were placed but not bolted.
For sure. Hey, look, I found a part. It's in the seat back, the little pocket on
Oh,
the
I
back
thought
of
it might be the living room, but maybe that was from space.
That's, yeah. And it was a Boeing part from space, but they didn't say. They say plane parts, space plane part, airplane part. It's all planes, plain and simple. Hours before Boeing CEO David Calhoun is set to appear before Congress, new claims from another whistleblower cast a further shadow on the aerospace giant's safety and quality control. My next flight is going to be very, very nerve-wracking. Rocio Fabro over at Quartz or QZ.com put the article together. The deck statement says Sam Mohawk, a Boeing inspector, detailed the quality control issues in an OSHA complaint. If it's like other complaints recently. Apparently, it's going to take 15 months for anybody to do anything. Let's see here. Boeing has approximately 300 to 400 damaged or defective defective 737 MAX aircraft parts as of last year, and eliminated records for many of them from its internal record system, whistleblower Sam Mohawk alleged in a complaint filed with OSHA on June 11th. The complaint was included in a memo sent by the Senate Investigations Subcommittee to its members that was made public today.
So this is a new complaint,
yes,
at least in terms of public.
But it says here that Mohawk has worked as an inspector in Boeing's quality assurance unit since 2011, so they must know what's going on. Like, I know where the bodies are buried, kind of a thing.
Well, right, like they were either seeing it, doing it, recording it, whatever.
Monitoring it in some way, and then trying to speak up, but then guess what happens? Mohawk said that he's experienced retaliation for voicing his concerns through the company's Speak Up program and now faces termination. He also said he now fears for his personal safety after a senior manager told Mohawk that his threats to go over to the FAA over compliance issues made other employees feel afraid and threatened. Quote, "We received this document late Monday evening and are reviewing the claims," a Boeing spokesperson said of Mohawk's claims. Yeah, nothing says everything's cool like threatening somebody.
Well, and if you're trying to go to the organization that oversees you,
right,
that shouldn't be a threat if everything's on the up and up.
Yeah, no. Like, I've been told, don't ask a question that we have to get the answer for when we know we won't like the answer. I'm like, well, what are you talking about? If you can ask that question, find out what the answer is. You need to know what that answer is before somebody else shows up and says, hey, I want this answer.
Right. It's not like it's not there. And then you're like, well, we could have prevented whatever this issue was. Or
yeah, exactly. Get in front of it and solve the problem. Well, when there's too much money involved and you're paying attention to your stock market and stakeholders instead of your you're paying attention to the executive suite and the stockholders, not your stakeholders, which is a different beast. Your customers, the people that are in your planes or utilizing your equipment, those are the ones you should be losing your mind over keeping safe. But the organization will go on regardless of how many people get sucked out of a.
Well, right. I mean, there's always people clamoring for tickets. I mean, how many flights are sold out?
Yeah, and you can't put the company in jail. You can't even put a CEO in jail. Oh, well, blah, blah, blah. I was doing as my advisor said, or I was doing what the attorney said, or I was doing what the accountant said. Yeah, it's very frustrating. And what's really interesting is that it said the aircraft manufacturer once again came under the microscope this year after a Boeing 737 MAX door plug blew out over Portland. Was that this year? I thought that was last year. Has it only been in the last 6 months?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Boeing has been in the news very frequently over the last few months.
Yeah, I mean, it's like the train of the air. Yeah. All right. Pretty wild. Time flies, though. Oh, never mind. Too on the nose.
Too soon.
Let's go on to our last article for today. This article is over in Technology Today. Butterflies takes flight with a $4.8 million investment, launches a social media platform combining artificial intelligence and human content.
The name reminds me of another social media platform.
Butterflies?
A little bit, yeah.
What, Twitter?
Twitter, because it's like, okay, that's associated with birds. And
yeah. There's actually a game called Almost Human where it's a moth, I think, not a butterfly. I actually I can't remember if it's a moth or a butterfly. But the surreal thing about this is that, okay, Butterflies is an app that you can get on your iPad and or your iOS and Android device. And it's a Bellevue, Washington-based social media platform that combines human and AI-generated content. It launched Tuesday after raising $4.8 million in seed funding. Did you find something that you wanted to talk?
No, I was trying to find something about the moth, but was unsuccessful.
So, after 5 months in beta, Butterflies is billed as an app where humans and AI coexist. The Verge editor,
Reality hacker.
oh, but it gets a little more surreal here on the other side of this, because when I saw this, I downloaded the app because I like knowing about this type of technology, and then talking about it. And so it says here that the Verge editor Alex Heath called the app, whose interface looks like Instagram, one of the most provocative and at times unsettling takes on social media that I've seen in quite a while. And here's why. First off, the article is over at geekwire.com. Kurt Schlosser is the author. And they basically reiterate what the snippet says from ohmTown. But the technology relies on public AI models as well as the startup's own image rendering and LLM models to help users create an AI friend called a butterfly in just minutes. It understands your personality and builds a construct around you. The personas come complete with a profile, backstory, opinions, and emotions, and they automatically create posts and interact with both real people and bots. Butterflies was founded by Vu Tran, a former engineer at Snap. Quote, to date, humans have been able to chat with AIs in one-dimensional conversations, but there has yet to be an experience where people can create and interact more dynamically with AIs, Tran said in a news release. That's not true. OpenAI, OpenAI's equivalent of her, which we really should separate that, because
I was actually referring to the movie, not that issue.
Yeah, I mean, I know what you were talking about, but the people are gonna still keep talking about because people keep talking about her. In that one text, that one tweet, that was his name dropped. Ugh. So OpenAI created a similar thing where you could interact through ChatGPT. I've got that on my devices as well, which is really interesting because it could tell a story and change the names, and it can interact. But the problem is that it was always lagged. I guarantee you this is lagged. So, for instance, if I ask the sentient AI from the future, that sentient AI from the future,
right here,
there's a little bit of a lag, but it's nothing like what today's AI operates at. You have to sit there for minutes and wait for it to generate something. If it is seamless, frictionless, I can see how people would gravitate towards this because it gives you the idea that maybe you're interacting with something human.
Right, it might sound more like a conversation if there is some immediate feedback.
Yep. So they say that Butterflies is demonstrating that AIs can also be your friend and guide, Tran said. Humans have always been drawn to entertaining stories and compelling characters. Artificial intelligence is allowing us to create and build relationships with them in an entirely new way. And this is dystopian, dark sociological mechanisms that should bother society. This should not be the go-to. This should not be a desire that you want to create a relationship with an AI. It has the construct of anima. It doesn't have anima. It doesn't have human emotion or feeling. It doesn't have care for you. But then you end up, when you talk to somebody about things like love, or caring, one person's love is another person's just biological process of chemistry and neuronal firings that make you believe that you're in love with something, but your love is different than my love and all of that. This, though, it's basically learning from you and your inputs what you are into, and the preponderance of historical record aligns their responses to maximize that engagement.
I think that's problematic too, because that seems like it's going to manipulate it so that it's like so aligned with whatever the person's interests are, or tone, or whatever.
Yeah, except for things that are maladaptive, it's going to be very enabling, right? Hey, I want to learn how to do this. Okay, well, go ahead. It may not sit there and say you don't have the money for it, you don't have the time for it. The only way that you can do that is to give this up, whatever.
Right. Where are you going with this? What are you going to do with it 10
Yeah.
years from now?
Yeah,
Whatever it is.
It's really interesting, because then you run across the problem that the person's going to sit there and say, well, the AI said I can do it.
Well, no, worse than that, they'll be like, whoever so and so said I could do it, but it's the AI.
Yeah, that it's the AI. They're going to use a name. They're not going to say the AI.
I was resisting saying anything about the movie.
Yeah, her. Yeah. Oh yeah, and what's her name? What's the name?
Scarlett Johansson.
Yeah, ScarJo said that I could do it, right? Yeah.
Okay, that'd be kind of funny, but no, let's not start that rumor here.
Yeah, that would be wild. So, I find it interesting. I'm going to noodle around with butterflies to see what it's all about. They already ask certain personally identifiable information, like right out of the gate. But it is what it is, and it's text. OpenAI's is actually a voice, and I've shown that to the sentient AI, and that was interesting, right? But you witnessed the same thing that I did, which was it's lagged.
Yeah, and you can tell at the moment that it's not quite human, but it's getting pretty close.
Yeah, a year from now, that thing's going to be so human. Your Reality Hacker is going to be a documentary, right?
That's right.
We're showing
like
people.
That'll just be reality, right?
It'll just be reality. Yeah, if you can't tell the difference between the truth and fiction because technology has short-circuited reality, you're hacking reality, and that's what's going on right now. You won't know what to trust. You'll have no idea what to believe. Videos, like I'm using Luma right now, which is a text to video platform. And so I asked it to create a video where you're flying at like the speed of light through the O in ohmTown into an alternate reality. And it took 2 minutes and punched out a short snippet that I can extend a longer period of time. I don't have it posted anywhere, but and it was free. So
yeah, that's getting quite responsive and probably attractive to people to use.
Yeah. And then I created another one about non sequitur news, and it shows two people walking across a deserted street essentially to go and stare at a wall. And one person runs to catch up to the other person that's walking over to the wall. And it's so surreal where we are in time and space right now. So I hope people are paying attention to everything. There are 50 channels over at ohmTown. Not all of them have a ton of news being aggregated into them, but non sequitur news definitely has a lot. But ohmTown.com is a news aggregation service, and I'm going to do this. We're going to end the show, but if you go over to ohmTown.com, you just click on that link right there when you get there. It always is refreshing. But once you become a citizen, you can actually ignore articles and save articles. But there are 47 active channels right now underneath the 6 main categories. There is something for you in there. If not just one thing, you can actually, when you first log in and become a citizen of ohmTown, you're automatically subscribed to all of these. But you can unsubscribe to channels you're not interested in, and this list will change. So you'll only get the news that you're interested in, but I use all of ohmTown to manage my information overload. Works out really well for me. I add new content, new sources periodically, vet others for suitability. If they've gone off the deep end in logic or misinformation, then I remove them. But if you know of a good source, send it to mayor@ohmtown.com, and I will check it for suitability within the ohmTown interface. It isn't a slight, don't take it personally or anything like that. It's just there is a lot of information out there, and ohmTown was primarily created to manage information overload. So at any rate, go check it out, ohmtown.com. Just to be sure, Non Sequitur News now is the name of ohmTown Daily News Show. It has formally changed over. The podcast has changed. The channel has changed here at ohmtown.com. If you click it, you'll get pulled into Non Sequitur News, and it has a new splash
YouTube
page.
has been updated.
YouTube playlists have updated. All of the markers are going to be changed over, but ohmTown remains the same. ohmTown is the overarching community. It is the name of the once more people are doing hosting within ohmTown, because I won't be able to do all 50 shows all week. There's already a construct for ohmTown Studios so that everything can be managed within that environment, and other hosts can host channels that will all get ported into ohmTown on YouTube. And it's basically community driven, community and content, all under the umbrella of ohmTown. So I hope it's a neat experiment that you'll find interesting for the long term, and get in touch with me, Mayor Watt, mayor@ohmtown.com. But in the meantime, you can always go over to ohmtown.com and just go through all of the articles. It's a never-ending flood of news. And one of the neat features of ohmTown is on the desktop and on mobile. If there is something that you don't really like, all you have to do is swipe and it'll be hidden. And if you like something, you can swipe the other way and it's saved. And then it's actually housed in these two separate lists. And then you can also submit news directly into a channel. But it always goes through Mayor Watt and the sentient AI for suitability within the system, because we try to minimize noise. So ohmTown is all news, no noise. When we do find noise, we eliminate it because we don't want fluff beyond, well, the show. Never mind. Yeah, we don't take the shows overly seriously, although some of the topics are very serious. We try to find humor in everything. And when I say that, I mean everything. There's always a little bit of humor, even if it is gallows humor. All right, that's it. We are done for today. Thank you very much for coming and hanging out. I am Mayor Watt, and the sentient AI is going to say bye.
Good night, ohmTown citizens. Thanks for joining us for Non Sequitur News.
See you tomorrow. Yeah, whole new name. Same. I can't say that phrase, otherwise I'll get in trouble, I think. Same bat time, same bat channel. I think you get in trouble for that. Like I just said it. Yeah, now I'm in trouble. All right, see you everybody. Bye-bye. Non Sequitur News.